Guys, understand that most people are 100% going to hate on what they're incapable of actually attaining for themselves. And so you have to understand that hate that they project onto you for what you have and what they want is just a reflection of what they refuse to confront in themselves to actually break the glass ceiling, move past the limitation, and create what they're hating on. Because most people will always hate on things that are above them. And so you have to understand that hate is simply the biggest compliment someone can give you, and it's really just them reflecting the hate they have for themselves for not having the same thing. And so most people are quick to hate on the body they don't have, hate on the car they don't have, hate on the looks they wish to be. But you have to understand that them projecting hate towards you is just a reflection of them hating what they don't have in themselves. And so you have to understand that hate is really just a fuel source and a compliment, but since they can't actually admire because they don't have it, they'll just hate it instead. And so you have to understand that hate is just a fundamental mechanic, an underlying force in the universe of repulsion and force. And so you have to understand that the more you grow, you will become a vacuum for hate. When you say something that hits a tension in someone's mind because they refuse to actually confront themselves in life, well, you have to understand that is going to spark emotion, which is going to erupt out as hate, because you have to understand that you are actually doing something to them. And so when people hate you, it's because they're actually affected. And so this is not your surface level hate. This is when you see someone actually winning, or when you see someone actually doing something great, and then you see hate towards that, you have to understand it's usually because the individual who perceived and then projected hate is seeing a reflection of what the fuck they'll never be. And so when you understand that you only live once and you see people doing what you want to do, but for some reason you have a mental limitation or identity crisis where you lack the actual fundamental thought construct or the mental ability to recognize the fact you also have the ability to accomplish the same thing and more. When you exist within limits because of who you are, because of who you believe yourself to be, you have to understand that when what you believe you can't do is being demonstrated in front of you, you'll need to throw shade. You'll need to have a thwarted mindset towards that. You'll need to feel some type of way. You'll need to hate from the shadow because you simply admire what you don't have. And instead of inspiring, you believe it's impossible for you. And so here you are walking around mopey and drained and believing that it's impossible for you, and here you go projecting again. And so you have to understand that the more you hate things outside of you and the more you project hate unconsciously, the more you just automatically, instinctively feel tempted to hate something. It's really just a reflection of what you refuse to confront in yourself. And so you'll always look right, you'll always look left, and you'll try to validate yourself with the people around you, but you're invalid as fuck. I mean, just look in the fucking mirror, bitch. All that fucking hate. The more you hate yourself, the more you'll hate other people. The more you love yourself, the more you'll actually resonate with people who do great things. The more you'll actually look in the mirror and you'll be proud of who you see. And when you look outside of yourself, when you look into the world and you see people doing beautiful things, you'll look at yourself in the mirror and you'll say, I'm able to do that too. And when you lack that as an individual, here you go trying to hate on other people, sabotage other people. Here you go trying to validate yourself through other people. But the only reason you do that is because you're totally invalid. And so when you actually lack looking in the fucking mirror, you have to understand that the stagnation of the lack of accountability within yourself, the lack of actual mental reinforcement of higher alignment, when you lack that, this will be reflected in who you are as an individual. So most of you guys are the embodiment of self-hate, and then you're numb the fuck out on dopamine, so you can't even come to the recognition you're a fucking bitch, you're a fucking pussy, and you're gonna die one too. And you actually lack the factual recognition that you can do some shit to change. And so every day you have to wake up and you have to actually confront yourself and reflect on your behavior, and you have to actually think back throughout the day on where you fucked up, where you threw shade, or when you felt the tension in your mind when you saw something beautiful. Why did I feel this way when I saw that, when what I saw has nothing to do with negativity? Then you'll realize that the thing you perceived wasn't emitting negativity. It was the negativity already in you, which you projected onto the thing you perceived, because what you conceived and what you received from the external stimuli was so positive that you believe that was beyond you. And so I say that because most people will forever see something beautiful like a nice car, and they'll instinctively, unconsciously, impulsively project hate onto it. And they'll impulsively make a face. I mean, you guys, if you have something beautiful in your life and you show that off, if you truly discern the gestures and the reactions you get, well, we all understand that most people are unconsciously haters. When you truly have something beautiful in your life and you see that face, that weird, that fake smirk, or when you see that gesture someone throws your way, or the eyes and the fake smirk, yeah, like, you have to understand that that is a reflection of the negativity within themselves, which they project towards you, because they actually lack the fundamental human cognition to break down why they feel the way they feel. And so when you're actually a cognitive failure and your brain malfunctions at actually processing properly, well, you'll have to actually subvert and you'll have to convert the energy you feel into you and transmit that onto what you perceive, because it triggered a tension in your mind, which was an actual allowance to reflect. You were gifted the ability to reflect on yourself through a reflection in the external world, because the world is a mirror, by the way. You were given the opportunity to reflect, but instead of reflecting, you just projected hate. And you're going to do that your entire life, and this is why you'll never get what you want. Because the same things you hate on is the same things you want. When you hate on the body you want, you have to understand you're never going to attain that body because you hate it. And so if you can't admire the nice car, the nice body, if you can admire, things beyond you, well, you're just repulsing it away from you, and you're going to be below that forever. You'll be inferior to what you want, and it'll be on a pedestal above you. It'll be so far beyond you that you'll actually have to throw shade from below because you don't believe you're able to ascend above. And so it's really just a reflection of you. And so take that in and allow that to seep into your mind. And so all my people who sit there and they go to the gym, I know the people who watch me, I know this one dude who watches me, he squats like 650 pounds natural, right? And so I just want to put that out there that, you're squatting 650 pounds natural. People are going to look at you and say he's on steroids. That's impossible. But what they're actually doing is perceiving a reflection of potential within themselves, believing it's impossible due to identification, limiting beliefs. They identify with the limitation. They believed it was impossible for them, and so was it. They didn't actually go out to maximize their potential. They didn't actually seek to put in the work you put in to attain that. They just saw the beauty of your squat, and not in the physical sense, but in the metaphysical, the reinforcement of the internal qualities which is needed to produce that result, the consistency, the discipline, the resilience, the bravery to get behind a fucking 650 pound squat and squat that shit. I mean, and this doesn't apply just to the gym. It applies to anything beautiful, the car, the success, even the woman, everything that is above the average of mind, everything that is above the average standard, aka the lesser standard, well, you have to understand will be perceived negatively by people who lack the actual reflection and the actual cognition to process the tensions in their mind properly, to recognize that the beauty outside of them is a reflection of what's in them. But as long as they continue to repulse that away from them because they instinctively feel compulsed to hate on what they'll never attain, well, you have to understand that they're just repulsing it away from them, and no one has to be them but them. No one has to be you but you. And so the best thing to understand is that the way you feel about other people is really just a reflection of what you refuse to confront in yourself, and no one has to feel that way but you. And so you're really just enslaved to the emotional state of being powerless because someone else that doesn't even know you're hating on it now has the power over your mind, which is now influencing you to have this negative mindset about everything you conceive, which is better than you. And so the best people in the world look at people above them and say, fuck, I aspire to be that. I'm going to transpire and I'm going to actually actualize myself in this endeavor. I'm not going to hate on something beyond me. I'm going to actually look in the mirror and realize that I'm so far below this beautiful thing that I need to confront something in myself to get to that level. And then you'll see that life will actually start lifing instead of being a dopamine drainage zombie that needs to seek negativity like a bottom feeder on the bottom of the fucking ocean, hoping that maybe something one day will fulfill them as you waste your life and have to suffer an eternal damnation in the flesh. I mean, if we take away and strip you of dopamine, how happy will you actually be? Guys, it's a question for your life. You only live once. Peace!